Let me first thank you all for being here. I know everybody's busy these days, and your time is valuable. So we do appreciate you being with us and taking a few minutes to go over these issues and this webinar. The purpose and scope of today's webinar will be to go over protecting and maintaining electric pallet jack batteries. We'll jump right in. So benefits of electric pallet jacks, besides them making life easy, two of the most common are they allow for expanded driver pool, and loading and unloading becomes much more efficient. If we look at what the options are as opposed to the electric pallet jack, it would be the manual pallet jack. And this biggest pro is probably the low cost. Electric pallet jacks make it possible for literally almost anyone to move, say, a 5,000-pound load from the far end of a warehouse right to the trailer, or from the trailer across a parking lot that may have a upgrade right into a drugstore or gas station, restaurant or grocery store. Another consideration to think about, and I'm going to read this is according to OSHA, 1/4 of all compensation indemnity claims involve back injuries costing industry billions of dollars. The manual pallet jacks are not the exclusive cause of these injuries. The stress of pushing and pulling loads can lead to operator injury. Furthermore, OSHA specifically notes, when possible, utilize power equipment rather than manual to reduce ergonomic stresses. So we'll move to common issues with electric pallet jack batteries. And these are a couple of the most common. Often the batteries become severely discharged, and that could be for a few reasons. Say workers forget to plug them in between shifts, or not enough time charging between shifts. Say a worker plugs it in at the end of his shift, second shift comes in and takes the same pallet jack that's only been charging for about 20 minutes. It's just not enough time to get those batteries up to a full state of charge. It takes a little bit more time than that. Another issue is you need to remove them from the trailer, bring them inside to charge them in the warehouse. And if you're charging them in the warehouse, if you see that picture that is on this slide, those charging and watering stations take up quite a bit of space in the warehouse, space that could be used for inventory, valuable inventory. The solution, we talked about a couple of the problems. The solution, opportunity charging. And we do that with the Purkeys TAPS unit, which eliminates the previously mentioned charging issues, extending the battery life and even decreasing maintenance. Maintenance, I mean having to change the battery out because of extreme discharge, and the watering that goes along with having those batteries at such a low state of charge that you need to continually water them. The way that we do this is obviously with the taps. It allows you to leave the electric pallet jack on the trailer and charging the batteries throughout the day between stops. So as the drivers or operators are making their deliveries, all they have to do is plug in the electric pallet jack, and they're charging all throughout the day. The next slide is I'm going to show you a video that gives it's a quick overview of the actual taps and a really good explanation, simple way to look at it and what it does. And I'm going to go ahead and play that for you. Perfect. Sorry if whenever that plays, the speakers all of a sudden come on really loud. But sorry if that did that to yours. We have a poll question up next. That basically it's how much square footage is dedicated in your warehouse for electric pallet jack charging, and if you could answer what best represents the space allocated to your charging operation, we would appreciate that. And give you a little bit of time to answer that question and submit, and then we'll look at the results. All right. We'll go, and I think that's been enough time. Okay. Good feedback. 41% is 0 to 200. And I do realize some of you, this may be NA, that you may not actually charge in the warehouse, but all right. Results.
All right, thank you, Thomas. Thomas kind of gave an overview of why fleets would spec a electric pallet jack, some of the challenges that come along with electric pallet jacks, such as discharge batteries, taking up space in the warehouse, and then dove into a little bit on the solution, which is the TAPS. TAPS is an acronym for Trailer Auxiliary Power System. So I'm going to go in, try not to get too technical, but I'm going to go over how the system works. This first slide you see here, basically it's a case study that we did. We do a lot of data recorders and monitor what's going on. We typically do a control unit where it doesn't have one of our systems, and then do it on a setup that does have our system. So this was a study we did at a restaurant supply chain in Southern California, where we had they outfitted a trailer with our TAP system, pallet jack charging system. One thing to clear up that, and I'll explain later on in the slides, is we're not the charger. We provide the 110 power, so you can plug those pallet jacks in. But this trailer, we had one trailer with the TAP system set up, and then one without. And you can see the trailer without the TAPs, the battery voltage on that pallet jack was just dipping extremely low. We have that danger level. Again, these are 24-volt battery packs. we have that danger level around that 20-volt mark. And you can see without utilizing the tap system, we're dipping well below that. Whereas with the tap system, we're staying above that danger level and providing good powers and opportunity charging, like Thomas mentioned earlier, opportunity charging for that electric pallet jack. So a little bit about how the taps works. Basically, starting left to right, it converts DC power from the tractor to 110 AC power inside the trailer. Typically, it's mounted towards the back of the trailer because when you have the trailer loaded, the pallet jack ends up at the back of the trailer. But we get that power from the tractor via the dual pole circuit. That's the preferred method to get that power from. And we only charge, again, Purkeys is anything we design, we do our best to design it as a system and to keep that system balanced. So if we're robbing power from that tractor to charge that electric pallet jack, we don't want to jeopardize that tractor's ability to crank. So we're only going to turn our system on and provide that 110 power when the tractor's running. We got to see 13.2 volts at the input of our inverter, our power inverter, in order for it to turn on and supply that 110 output. It's that Dynabalance technology. We're keeping that tractor and trailer's electrical system balanced. Doesn't do any good if you can't start the tractor. So this system is really designed around opportunity charging. So going into a little bit more detail on kind of the layout of the system, start with your AC receptacle. Thomas is going to take a deeper dive into that setup, that AC receptacle and the housing, but how it's laid out is you have the 110 receptacle, really mounted anywhere in the trailer, but typically at the back. We utilize 12-gauge GXL stranded wire that's encapsulated in an orange liquid-tight conduit. We use stranded wire because in a mobile application, such as a trailer application, if you use that solid copper wiring, it doesn't hold up well to that vibration. So we do use that stranded wire for that reason. And we use GXL wire on everything we do. GXL is a really top-of-the-line insulation that won't reflow. So you're not going to get a thermal event if that wire was overheated. We utilize a 1500-watt pure sine inverter with the patented Dynabalance technology. I was speaking earlier about the Dynabalance, where we have certain turn-on thresholds to not jeopardize the tractor's ability to crank, and we have shut-off thresholds to do the same thing. Again, you got to be able to start that tractor, and we use a pure sine inverter. Just some of the things we've learned over the years with providing this product is there's certain chargers, built-in chargers on these electric pallet jacks that need that really clean power. So some of our earlier models, we used a modified sine, but we are now all pure sine inverters across the board on this product. We want to be able to provide a product that works with every pallet jack, no matter what. As far as the input cables, we use 1/0 high-quality PrestoFlex cabling. It holds up really well to abrasion. It's rated at 125 C. It's really good flexible cable. Again, all the cable we use is really top-notch. And then we also supply in our trailer application. We have a straight truck configuration and a trailer configuration. In our trailer configuration, we supply a dual pole nose box. That's our own nose box that we build, and Thomas will kind of go over that later on in the presentation. So that kind of gives you an overview of the the layout of the tap system. So now I'm going to kind of go into all the different configurations and how you would lay that out in your application. First, starting with a dual pole configuration. This is the most common configuration where you have a tractor and trailer, and utilizing that dual pole circuit, that power and ground from that tractor battery. You can see the tractor batteries connected to a dual pole socket. Then you have your stinger cord connecting the tractor to the trailer, and then that's where we pick up our DC input power to turn our tap system on. And then you have the orange liquid tight conduit going back to a AC receptacle mounted anywhere in the trailer, but most commonly in the back of the trailer. So again, kind of go into back to the logic. That tractor must be running before we turn our system on to provide that 110 power. Really, it's very similar in a straight truck application, but you don't have that separation from tractor and trailer. You just have those straight truck batteries, and you wouldn't have a need for a dual pole socket in this configuration. So same thing though, pulling DC input power off the straight truck batteries. Same logic applies. You got to see the 13.2 volts turn on, and will shut off if it drops below 12.4 volts. This is becoming a little more common these days, where fleets want the independency and having that trailer be independent from the tractor. And typically, when you talk about liftgate batteries, you typically don't want to rob from those batteries. They don't need any help. They got the liftgate that pulls a lot of current, a lot of cycles. So it can be done. You can pull power from the liftgate batteries to run the tap system, but it's really recommended to consult with a Purkeys professional. Again, batteries. What comes out of a battery must go back into a battery. So you really need to spec that application to make sure you properly are maintaining those liftgate batteries if we're going to rob power from them. But very similar as a trailer application or a straight truck, you just change your input for your TAPS inverter over to the liftgate batteries. Kind of move forward here. So I kind of skipped ahead, but running taps off the liftgate batteries, it is possible to utilize the liftgate batteries to operate the tap system. But again, keep in mind, the liftgate requires a lot of power of its own. So you want to make sure you have plenty of charging sources on those liftgate batteries, whether it's the Purkeys charging system in parallel with dual pole, or even possibly running solar. You want to make sure you spec that properly if you're going to utilize the liftgate batteries to run the taps. Now we'll say we're never going to, again, we're all about keeping a balanced system. We're never going to jeopardize those liftgate batteries using the taps. You just may not get the full benefits out of the taps because we're going to shut off before we jeopardize those liftgate batteries. Again, our 12.4 volt shut off. So we're never going to hurt the batteries, but if you don't properly spec it with a good charging system, you may not get the full benefit of the tap system. Again, basically how it works off the liftgate batteries, same as with a tractor. Converts DC power from the liftgate batteries to 110 volt AC power in the trailer. And then you have your outlet that's mounted at the back. Only charges when the liftgate batteries are being charged from multiple sources to prevent overly discharged batteries. And then going into our Dynabalance technology where we're not going to jeopardize them. Again, I can't stress enough, it's all about opportunity charging for those electric pallet jacks, to keep them as close to 100% state of charge at all times. It's really going to reduce, it may be a deal where you still need a combination of in the trailer and in the warehouse, but however you can get that opportunity charging, you're going to be much better off. It's going to reduce how often you have to water those. If you have a watering station like Thomas alluded to earlier, it's going to eliminate, maybe not eliminate, but reduce some of that for you. So we have another poll question. And I'll read that for you real quick and give you some time to answer. How many times have you had a service call on electric pallet jack due to dead pallet jack batteries? 0 to 5, 5 to 10, or 10 plus. And I'll give you a few minutes or a few seconds to answer that. All right, so we'll move on to the results. Wow, 46.7%, 0 to 5. 33%, 5 to 10. So again, it's all about keeping those batteries as close to 100% state of charge as possible. You're going to extend the life of those batteries, reduce your road calls. I don't know if anybody's ever, dealt with a electric pallet jack that, if you're out using it, going into a store or, and those batteries just died on you. Pretty heavy piece of equipment that really is almost impossible to move if the batteries are dead. So, just good all around to keep those batteries at or close to 100% state of charge. So I'm going to turn it over to Thomas. He's going to go take a deeper dive into, some of the features and indicators that are provided with this kit. So back to you, Thomas.
Awesome. Thanks, Jimmy. So features and indicators. So let's take a look. This is our nose box, as Jimmy mentioned earlier, One Connect. This is for a dual pole trailer application where you're plugging in from the truck to the trailer. This dual pole box does include a dual pole socket. It's extremely tough, nylon 66. Again, it has to be tough being on the front of the trailer. Drivers are tough on equipment. And so is the weather, quite frankly, and it is designed to stand up to the cold north and the moisture and the heat in the south. But it's an extremely durable box. The actual housings, again, reinforced nylon. Inside the trailer, you need just as much durability as outside the trailer. I'm sure if we're in this business, we've all seen the inside of a trailer where people have loaded the trailer and put a forklift through a wall. And I'm sure everybody's seen a little bit of everything. So our housings need to be durable as well. You can see the housing on the left is it's probably that'd be what you see in a dry van application. The sides are beveled to kind of deflect any damage that comes this way. And the one on the right is what you would see more in a reefer trailer, where it's recessed in the wall and kind of stays out of harm's way. Now the actual receptacle that goes in that housing, again, heavy duty hospital grade receptacle, extremely tough again. And we also, if you look in the upper right hand corner, it has a power indicator. Now, and that's basically to indicate that the taps is on and the outlet has AC power. A lot of times, Jimmy went over mounting positions, and in the next couple of slides, he's going to talk about where the taps can be mounted, and it can be mounted inside the trailer or outside. If it's mounted inside the trailer, example, boxes might be stacked up in the front, and they can't make visual contact with the TAPS unit, where we do have lights, which I'll go over in a second, but we do have lights on it. They may not be able to see that. So this little light just lets them know, hey, you've got power, you can plug into it and charge the electric pallet jack. And this system indicators, this is probably one of my favorite. The TAPS is an incredible product, but this is so simple that it's awesome to me. And it's just a sticker. It's a great feature, and it gives the operator an indication of the system function at all times. So if you notice in the top, it says AC power, and there's kind of two blocks. Green solid will be the system's functioning as it should. Everything's good to go. Orange solid mean the TAPS is turned off, and that could be for a couple of reasons, but probably mainly because the truck is off. And you'll have an orange blink, which would over voltage, or yellow solid, which would be over power. And an example of that might be, for some reason, if somebody plugged a refrigerator into it that was a really large refrigerator, and that would just mean you've exceeded the capacity of the inverter inside the TAPS. You might have a yellow blink. Well, and let me back up. While the TAPS is commonly used to charge electric pallet jack batteries, that's not all that it can do. We provide 110 power, so we have customers that use it in different applications for work trucks, and for example, they have a laptop and that has diagnostic systems on it. They need to run through that, or charge handheld power tool batteries, that kind of thing. It provides 110 power, so you can plug a multitude of things in there. Moving on to the yellow blink, that would be over temperature, and maybe an example of that be if it was in Arizona and just overheated. Now the unit is programmed for that, and will shut off as a protective measure, but it is designed to kind of stand up to high heat and cold. But again, we do protect the engine, and if there's any the truck batteries, and if there's any detriment to that, it's going to turn off first. And last, down at the bottom, is system fault, and we give you a number. If anything's going on, for some reason that sticker got scratched off and you just need some help walking through it, you can get in contact with our tech reps, and they can walk you through whatever it is that's going on, and get you back up.
I'm going to chime in here real quick. We just had a question pop up, and it just says how many amps. And I realized we didn't really talk too much about amperage and fusing, but we utilize that 1500 watt inverter, that pure sine inverter, and we fuse that system, the input, at 150 amps. So those are your limitations: the 1500 watt inverter, and you're fusing at 150 amps. And then we have a 3000 watt surge on that inverter. So it's going to handle pretty much anything you need. A lot of time, we also have a inrush we have a suppressor built in so it can handle that inrush current. But yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Okay, back to you, Thomas.
I think Jimmy's going to go over some of the mounting locations inside and outside of the trailer into a little more detail on that.
So yeah, I'm going to go over some mounting locations. I'll talk about some background noise. Something's been acting kind of funny on my mic. But yeah, I'm going to dive right in. We've recently, or not recently, in the past few years, designed a new enclosure for our tap system. It's a stainless steel IP66 rated enclosure that's going to protect that inverter from all the elements, which allows us now to have different mounting locations. We can put this thing under the trailer. We can put it inside the trailer where it is most commonly mounted, but it gives that added flexibility on where we can put this thing. The picture on the left there shows a common application where it's mounted inside the trailer. A lot of times these tap systems are used in a reefer application, and always get the question asked that, is it going to hold up to the moisture that's presented in a reefer trailer? And the answer is yes. Again, that's the most common application. As long as the inverter is kept in that enclosure, it's going to be protected. It's not going to do any harm to that, to the enclosure or the inverter itself. Another more commonly mounting location that's been presented to us is putting it underneath the trailer, and we talked earlier about utilizing the liftgate batteries to pull power from. Picture on the right there shows where we've mounted the taps right underneath the trailer, right next to the liftgate batteries. So it makes it really easy to jump over to those liftgate batteries and connect power and ground with the proper fusing to power that tap system, and then route the 110 AC cables in the liquid tight conduit up through the insulated wall. So now you have flexibility with where you can put this thing. One thing to note on that though is you're limited to the length of the input cables. So we've designed it so we provide plenty of length of cable, the 1-aught cable on the input side, without causing any voltage drop issues in the system. So that is one limit to where you can put this thing, is how long the input cables are. But for most applications that we've seen, we provide plenty of cable for that. So I'm going to kind of go over the install, kind of the process that's taken to install this system. It's quite simple. Mount the taps enclosure in a suitable location inside or outside the trailer, like we just talked about, or in a straight truck. Provided in the kit, you're provided basically a bundle of AC cable. It's already been pre-ran inside the 3 AC wires have been pre-ran inside the liquid tight conduit, and you connect those wires to a 3-stud terminal strip that's provided inside the taps enclosure. So really easy connection points. Not a lot of cutting and splicing that anybody has to do, but we provide you those studs to connect to. Route the AC harness to the AC receptacle wherever you choose to mount that AC receptacle, most commonly in the back of the trailer. You can see here we have the beveled version, so this is a dry van. So you're going to mount the receptacle, route the DC cables to the dual pole receptacle. Another cool feature of the One Connect box, which is provided in the trailer applications. We give you a side port to connect your connect your DC input cables. So you don't have to get into the box per se to make those input connections on the back of the dual pole. Makes it really easy to just connect on the side. It's protected right at the box. Your protection is at the box because that's the closest to the power source. So you're really easy connection point there on the One Connect box. Obviously, for a straight truck application, we just provide the 150 amp mega fuse because you wouldn't have a need for a nose box on a straight truck. So, why should fleets be interested? Again, provides extra charging opportunities. It's all about reducing that depth of discharge and keeping those batteries at a high state of charge as long as possible. Provides longer run times. We talked about, what happens when that battery does die and you're in the middle of a delivery. Makes it really difficult to move that piece of machinery when those batteries are dead. Gives more design options for pallet jacks. Possibly, if you're keeping them, near 100% state of charge. Talk about smaller battery packs, extended warranty, and then save space and save warehouse space. It all depends on how you operate that piece of equipment, that electric pallet jack. But it does open it up to some opportunities to reduce what you have to utilize that warehouse for to keep those pallet jacks charged. Open that space up to more valuable space, such as using it for inventory. So those are some of the biggest reasons why a fleet would be interested in this system. We're a very service-oriented company. That's one of the joys of my job. That's what I love doing is providing solutions, fixing problems. So 100% service-oriented. Training is available to all fleets using our products. Obviously we're faced with challenges these days with the COVID, but we can do virtual training, on-site training, whatever you need. We could provide that for you. Our core focus is charging and protecting batteries for fleets to keep them on the road. That's what we do. That's the core of our business and what we're dedicated to. 30 years experience helping you guys. So that is our business model. So that really concludes the presentation. Please send all your questions, comments, and utilize that resource widget. There's a case study in there that you can look at that kind of dives into a little deeper into that MODAC study or that data recorder study that I showed you guys earlier. It also has that TAPS video and many videos that you can look through and see how get some additional information on that system, on the TAPS system. So, questions, answers. Again, don't forget to go to the resource widget. Stick around at the end for a survey, a quick survey, and just let us know how we did. Any other topics that you would like to hear about, we'd be happy to hear those.
We did have a question come in about OEM trailer installs on this, and they do install this at the OEM. I can give you a call and talk to you further about that. I can shoot you an email or give you a call, the person that asked that question.
Thank you, Thomas. One other question popped in. What kind of online training do you offer? We don't have any courses set up online, but we can do something. We can do something similar to this. Set up a webinar. You can invite as many technicians or operators, drivers. We can tailor just about anything to your needs using a platform like this or any kind of virtual setup. But yeah, so we're getting lots of questions. Is there a maintenance seminar for this system? Not that I know of. Again, I'm glad all these questions are coming in. Send them to us. We can, maybe something we didn't think about. But again, we can just tailor just about anything to your needs, virtually, on site. Yeah.
And any further information, whether it's just information in general, if you have customers that you think would be interested in this, we can provide you with that as well as pricing.
We'll give you a few more or two to send in your questions. Again, don't forget to stick around for the survey.
Absolutely. Got some great questions there too. Thank you.
So I think we're ready to move on to the survey. That concludes the presentation. Thanks everybody for joining. Again, send us your questions. We'll be happy to answer them. Anything additional technical wise, data sheets, any of that kind of stuff. Feel free to reach out to us. We'll help.
Absolutely. Thank you again for attending the webinar. As I said, I know everybody's busy, but we do appreciate your time, and thank you all.